If you've just bought a brand new Prime series of decks by Denon DJ, you're going to want to know how to prepare your music for the best possible playback. So today I'm going to show you how to use Engine Prime, the preparation software by Denon DJ. Hi guys, welcome to Crossfader. My name's DJ Holland, and today we're going to be looking at Engine Prime, the preparation software by Denon DJ. Now this software is used to prepare music for playback in the Prime Go, Prime 2, Prime 4, and then your SC5000, SC5000M, and also the SC6000 range. So basically all the Prime players by Denon DJ use Engine Prime to prepare their music onto USBs, SD cards, or even hard drives if you have one installed. Now, as many of you will already know, the decks are capable of analyzing music on the go, and you can also create custom playlists on the decks themselves. But for the best possible playback, you are going to want to do that before stepping onto the decks. You know, having a proper setup of your crates and your playlist will allow you just to get on the decks and play straight away, rather than having to waste time editing beat grids and, you know, creating playlists on the decks themselves. So I've installed a clean version of Engine Prime onto my computer here to give you the exact same view you will be having the first time you load the software in. And this video might be a little bit long, so if you're looking for a specific part of this video, please do check the comments below in the description and we will have timestamps. There's various ways of importing music from other DJ softwares into Engine Prime, so each segment will be listed down below. So let's get into it and get started with Denon Engine Prime. Before we import any music into the Engine Prime software, I'm quickly going to run you through some of the settings. In the top right corner, if you click the little cog, you will open up the settings. If you go to library, we can see our analyzation settings. So here we've got the auto analysis. We want to leave this on. This means when a track is imported, whether it be from another piece of DJ software such as Serato, or if you're dragging and dropping tracks straight from your hard drive, if this is on, it will analyze that track straight away. We want to leave that on. So we'll leave that on. Then we've got our key notation. So when it analyzes a song, how does it write the key that it finds? Personally, I would leave this in Camelot, but if you're more used to seeing sharps or flats, or maybe the open key notation, you can change it just in here. To learn more about mixing in key, please click the link in the top right corner, and we have a really helpful guide on why it's important to mix in key and what it means. And then we can change the BPM range of our analyzation. So we can change this range, but the default of 78 to 155 is about right for most use cases. But if you're DJing mainly in the higher BPM ranges, maybe you're a drum and bass DJ, you can go ahead and change your range so the analyzation of your tracks won't double or half your BPMs. Underneath, we've got the integration settings. Here we can toggle on or off which sources we want to see in the Engine Prime. If you're not using Traktor or Rekordbox, and you never will, you can turn these off so they don't clutter your view. However, for this video, I'm going to leave them on because I am going to run you through how to import music from all of these devices. At the bottom, you can back up your library or clean it up to get rid of tracks that may be missing, but that is not important in today's video. So I've loaded up Engine Prime here, and this is the first thing you will see. Now, the software is broken into two main areas. Up top here, we have the player. This player allows us to drag tracks in and then make adjustments to beat grid, set loops, set hot cues, and just edit the details of that individual track. And then the bottom half, the larger half down here, is our library. On the left-hand side, you see we've got a search tool to search through the library. We've also then got these icons down the left-hand side, and these are where we can import music and manage our music from different software and also the collection that's in Engine Prime itself. So the first icon up here on the left-hand side that's already selected, this is crates. The one below it is playlists. Now these are the two areas we are going to focus up most in, because when you import your music into Engine Prime, it comes into your collection, and then you can organize your collection by crates or playlists. The difference between crates and playlists is crates are just a holding crate for all your music. You can't specifically order it in any specific way, and you also can't list a track more than once. So crates are brilliant for throwing everything that's like R&B together. But if you want your R&B together and then listed in the order you would play them in a club, you'd be better off using a playlist for that reason. So to import music into your crates or your playlist, you first need to get music into your collection. Now, your collection will be shown at the top here in the crates folder. The easiest way to get your music into the collection is by dragging and dropping tracks. So if we open up a Finder, it's the exact same on a Windows machine, and we go to our downloads, we can find a track and we can simply drag it and drop it just like that. So when the track is dragged in, it analyzes, and once it's analyzed, you get the key data, the preview waveform. You can click on this for a quick snippet of the track, so wherever I click it will play back from. You can stop that straight away. Then if you want to change more about the track, you can drag it up to the player here. We can check the beat grid information. It's analysed it very well, but had it done it wrong, on the left here, the middle icon is your beat grid information where we can change the BPM. We can lay down more beat markers, we can reset it, tap it in manually, double the BPM or half it, and then move the grid should the grid be analysed wrong, but it's done it quite well, so I'm going to leave it where it was. We can also add hot cues or loops. So up top here, we can click on hot cue, click on any of the 8 tabs here, and it will put down a cue. So we've got a hot cue there. If you right click this, you can then name it, and then give it a specific colour for the colour of the pads when playing back on the deck. So I'm going to put that one as start and red, and then just simply click off. If you lay down a hot cue where you don't want one, say if I put one there and I don't want that hot cue there, I can right click, and in the same area you can press the clear button. The same goes for loops. So what we can do is we can go to loop here, and then when you click in, it will start the loop, and click out to end the loop. So you can put manual loops down. So if I just start the loop there, it's as simple as that to make a loop. Again, right clicking, we can name, color it, or simply clear the loop. So that's how you would simply add a track in and get the track analyzed and ready for playback. So an easier way of importing music in bulk is to do it by folders. So if you've got a folder of music, so for example, I've got the Crossfader free music pack here. If you would like to download this free music pack, of course, the clue's in the name, it is free. Please click the link in the top right hand corner or check the description below where we will have a download link for everyone that's watching this video. What we can do to save ourselves a bit of time in creating crates and playlists is drag that folder straight in. So for example, what I can do is I can drag this entire folder into the crate section. As you can see, I can drop it inside the main collection, but I'm going to drop it into the crates. When I do that, it will create a crate called the same as the folder and import all the tracks inside that folder and start to analyze them automatically. So as you can see, it's instantly created a crate called Crossfader Free Music Pack, because that was the name of the folder. And then as we see in here, it's now analyzing those tracks. Real time saver. Alternatively, from dragging and dropping, we can actually use the inbuilt file browser to import music. On the left hand side, there's a little folder icon, and when you click it, we open up into the browser view. On the left hand side here, we can then navigate through our computer's folders and find the music and import it. So it automatically highlights your music folder at the top, and then when we click in here, we see that we've got my music folder here. So if I go into music again, there we go. I've navigated to the Ricky Ricardo track, and what I can do then, if I want to import it, I can just right click and then add tracks to collection. As you can see on the bottom, it's now analysing the track and adding it into the library, which it has done. If I then go back up to the full crate, click on the main collection and search Ricardo, there we go, the track's been imported. You can do this with folders as well, but I do find dragging and dropping is a lot quicker. Moving on to playlists. Now, as I mentioned earlier, playlists are a method of organizing your music where you can customize the order, and you can also name a track more than once in a playlist. In crates, you cannot do that. So in crates, that's just like having a box of CDs or records. You can only have that record in there once, and there's no real order. You can select which tracks are inside that box, but you can't necessarily put them in the same order as you would want them to be played back on a night. Playlist, you can do exactly what you want. If you want to organize them by BPM and have the same track in there 3 times because you're intending on playing it 3 times, you can do so. So in playlist, if we navigate up to the top here, we can click this little arrow and we can create a new playlist. We can name that whatever we like, just call it Crossfader for the time being. And then what we can do is we can go back into our collection. What you can do here is you can navigate to these tracks, highlight them, and then drag them into the playlist, just like that. And that should have been added, yep. Alternatively, just like we did with the crates, we do have the ability to just drag a folder from our computer and drop it on the playlist section. That will create a playlist exactly the same as the folder, so you'll get the same order in there as well. And then it will add the tracks as well. So if the tracks haven't already been added to the engine library, it will analyze them. Our tracks, as you'd seen before, we'd already created a crate, the exact same as this, so it already had those tracks in the folder. So once the music's all added in, as you can see, we can then create our custom order. So to create a custom order, on the left-hand side, you see you've got the hashtag here clicked. This is the playback order. So if I want to change them about, I can just move that down there. Alternatively, if I want to organize it by BPM or album, something like that, I can just change the order by clicking BPM and it will automatically list it in ascending order. Click it again and it'll list it in descending order. Very easy. So let's move on to importing music from our other sources on our computer. So if you've already got a library of music on your computer, maybe you're a Serato DJ user, Traktor user, or maybe you've just got your music in iTunes, we're going to run through how you set this up. So on the left-hand side, we've got an Apple Music library here. What we need to do first is click Update Library. When we do that, the Denon Engine Prime software will look for the XML file from your Apple Music library or iTunes library if you're still using iTunes. If you're having issues with Engine Prime finding the Apple Music library or the iTunes library, make sure that you're sharing the XML so you've got that ticked. So if you go into iTunes, head to Preferences and just make sure that share XML data with other applications is ticked. Then when you press the Update Library button, you will find that your playlists and your music from within iTunes or Apple Music is brought in. And then what we can do here is we can import a playlist as a whole, or we can select individual tracks. So if I want to import an individual track, I can navigate to it inside my iTunes library here. I can then right click and click Add Tracks to Collection. As soon as I do that, it will add it to the collection and analyze it. So if I go back to the collection here, I can then search Africa and voila, there we go. Alternatively, when we're going through our Apple Music library or iTunes library, we can find a playlist like this and import this on a whole. So we can right click the iTunes playlist and then we can import it as a playlist or a crate. It gives us that option. So I'm going to import this as a crate. If I press that, then go to crates, you can see it's imported that from Apple Music and all the tracks within it as well, straight into our library. Really easy, really simple to import your music from iTunes into Engine Prime. Moving on to Serato. Now, Serato integration with Engine Prime is brilliant. What we need to do is firstly click on this little crate icon. This is where we see our Serato library and the crates within it. So first of all, click here. As you can notice, it hasn't brought anything up. My crates are missing. So what I need to do for the first time is click Update Library. As you can see, it's now dragging in all my crates from my Serato DJ library. It will also drag in all the track information as well. So if I navigate through here to say drum and bass, you can see that it's actually finding the BPM and the key from the Serato analyze. So when Serato's analyze these tracks, all that information is there for Engine Prime to see, and we can import that ourselves. So just as in with iTunes, we can individually right click on a track to add it to our collection. We could drag it across to our playlist and add it into a playlist like that, just simply by dragging and dropping. But the easiest way really is to right click on a crate and import that entire bulk of music at once. So if we head over to the crates, I can import these crates straight away as either a crate or a playlist, just like I could with Apple Music. So I'm going to take my drum and bass set and I'm going to import that as a playlist. It's now importing it over as a playlist. If I go to playlists, you see down at the bottom it's analysing these tracks as it imports them. What it's doing there is it's just getting the beat grid information ready for me. So if I go to drum and bass, 185 tracks, and it's now importing all those tracks and analysing them for me to be played back on the Engine Prime. So that's how you would move your Serato library into Engine Prime for playback on these Denon decks. It's really simple and really easy. Moving on to Traktor. Now, Traktor does involve some additional steps to get Engine Prime reading your Traktor library, and it actually all starts within Traktor itself. So what we need to do is, first of all, open up Traktor software. Once we're in Traktor, basically what we need to do is export the library. Now, this won't have any effect on Traktor and the playback of your music inside Traktor, but what we need to do is just create a little file so Engine Prime knows where to read the information from. So on the left-hand side, if we go to track collection, so don't stay in your folders, in your playlists, go all the way up to the top where it says track collection and right-click on it. Then we need to go to export collection. Once the exporting tracks icon has opened up, we can name the export. You don't have to name it, but I'm just going to name it for the sake of this video, so Traktor export. And then you need to select a destination where this file will be saved. I'm going to save it on my desktop because it's easy for me to navigate and find, but you can save it wherever is convenient for you. So I'm going to select my desktop. The export format needs to be NML. Please do not change that to M3U because Engine Prime won't be able to read it. And then this box underneath, it says export options, copy tracks to destination. What that will do, when I click OK and it exports a library, if that box is ticked, it will then send every single file within your music collection to the same location as the MNL file that we're creating. Now, if you're exporting your collection onto your USB stick and you want to make a backup of your Traktor library, that's brilliant. It will take the tracks with it. But for this, the tracks are already on this computer, they're already on the hard drive. We don't need to make a duplicate of them because it will kill space on that hard drive and mess the whole thing up. So I'm going to make sure that's turned off. So if you're coming from a different computer to a new computer, make sure it's on. If you're not and the files are staying where they are, make sure that is definitely ticked off. Once that's off, click OK. There we go. It's a very quick process. It's exported the NML file. So we head back to Engine Prime. And now when we go to the Traktor icon on the left-hand side, you can see we've got the update library as with all the other softwares. What we're going to do is we're going to click that and it'll open up a little Finder window. It will then want us to find the export that we've just made. So as you can see, I've got the Traktor export NML file on my desktop ready to go. So I'll just click open. And what it will do then is read the NML file and bring us in our playback of the tracks that are inside that library. It'll also bring back the playlist as well. So now that's imported, we can see we've got all the tracks here, and we've also got our folders from within the Traktor library. So just like before with Serato and Apple Music, you can navigate through, right-click and add a track to collection individually. Alternatively, to bulk move your music from playlist into Engine Prime, you can just right-click and import as a playlist or a crate. So for example, I'm just going to do that one as a crate. If I go to my crates, recordings, there they are, and they've automatically analysed as well. Really, really simple. Do know, if you're going to continue using Traktor, making changes to your Traktor library and you want them to show within Engine Prime, you are going to have to export the NML file again once you've made your changes in Traktor, and then once again, go to the Traktor, press Update Library, and it will bring you up this window again, and you will navigate to your new export, and then the changes will be made. It won't see changes made after that export has been imported into Engine Prime. So if you're going to continue using Traktor, remember to keep on top of exporting an NML whenever you need to bring it across to Engine Prime. Moving on to Rekordbox. Now, unfortunately, Pioneer DJ have changed the way they do things with Rekordbox recently. Rekordbox 6 users can no longer export an XML file, and that is crucial for Engine Prime to be able to read your playlists and your collection within Rekordbox. So if you still have Rekordbox 5 installed on your computer, most people will do because Rekordbox 6 didn't overwrite Rekordbox 5, you will need to go and open up Rekordbox 5 and first export your collection. So I'm going to head over to Rekordbox version 5. So once we've opened up Rekordbox version 5, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head up to File and then I'm going to click Export Collection in XML format. It will then ask me where I want to save it and what name I want to give it. So I'm just going to call it Rekordbox Export. And again, I'm just going to put it on my desktop because it's easy for me to find. Unlike Traktor, you will not have a copy of your tracks. It will not even give you the option. This will simply just create basically a spreadsheet almost of your playlists and the playback information of your tracks and what tracks are inside your Rekordbox collection. So you don't have to worry about gigabytes of files being moved around on your computer. This will just create a small file called an XML, and that's exactly what we need. Unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, Rekordbox 6 users no longer have the ability to do this. Once that's exported, head over to Engine Prime and click Update Library. It will then give us a window to go find the XML file. I'm going to click on Desktop and there it is. Click Open and it will then import your Rekordbox library into the Engine Prime software. If you are going to continue using Rekordbox, you will need to go into your Rekordbox collection and export this as an XML every time you make a change in Rekordbox that you want to be shown inside Engine Prime. So if I go into Rekordbox, create a new playlist and drag some more tracks in there, if I want Engine Prime to see that, make sure you go back and just redo these steps, otherwise it will no longer show. Once Rekordbox has been imported to your Engine Prime software, you can then navigate through your collection as before. Again, you can see all the information that's been analyzed inside Rekordbox. We've got the key data, we've got the BPM, it's all in there already. So we can navigate through and find exactly what we want. Again, on the left-hand side, we've got all our playlists from Rekordbox in here. So just like with Serato and iTunes, if you found a track individually that you like, you can search the collection as well. So if I search Billie Eilish, there's a Bad Guy track that I like. I can right click and individually add that track to the Denon collection. So I'll add that like so. But a quicker way of doing this, as with the other software, is I can go through and find, I don't know, York or Tech. If I just move my Tech, you can right click on the Tech playlist and import it as a playlist or as a crate, and that will move across and import all the tracks at the same time. So I'm going to create that as a playlist. As you see at the bottom, it's moving the tracks across and it's just going to analyze them quickly to add Denon's beat grid information. So the key and the BPM that's already been set by Rekordbox will remain. However, it will just go in and put down the Denon beat grid because it cannot read the Rekordbox one. That's much the same with the other software as well. Once that's all analyzed, I can then go back up to the top, and again, I've got my crate and I've got my playlists. They're the Engine Prime collection. That's what's in there, ready to go to be exported to a player. So how do I go about moving my collection? So I've got my crates here that I've imported across from Traktor, that one, and then I've got my playlists. I've got my tech playlist that I moved across from Rekordbox, and my Crossfader music pack that I moved across from Serato and whatnot. How do I get that from the software once I've analyzed it and done everything I want to do and put it on a USB stick to get it into the decks? Well, it's really simple and really easy, and we've got two methods of doing this. So let's get into how to export your music. So once you've got all your music inside Denon Engine Prime, you've created some crates and some playlists and you've organized your music just how you want it. You're going to want to get it onto a USB stick or an SD card, or even plug in the player itself and export that music for playback on the decks. So it's really easy to do, and there's two simple ways of doing it. The first method, and the easiest one, the one I recommend using, is the Sync Manager. So if we go down to Sync Manager, we can see that we've plugged in a USB stick here called Jamie H. This one has already got some Denon analyzed music on it. If you haven't already got music on your USB stick, remember you need to have it formatted in FAT32 or exFAT, but we do recommend using FAT32 format. Once you've got your USB stick imported, you can then on the left-hand side see the music within the Engine Prime software itself. So we can see our crates, and we can also see our playlists. So these are all the crates and playlists we've created on the software itself. So we can decide what music we want to put onto the USB stick. So if I go down and say, well, definitely want my tech playlist on there, and I want the recordings crate, you can see as I add these on, the size down at the bottom here will increase, and this is how much space that transfer is going to need. On the left hand side, we can see the name of our device. If we've got more than one device plugged in, we can click on this drop down menu and click on our other drive. However, we can see that this drive has got 86.9 gigabytes available, so that's enough room. And then what we can do is click export to drive. This will start exporting, as you can see. And then what we can do is we can just click off the sync manager, continue using Engine Prime to continue our day-to-day routine. We can start preparing more music. And as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner here, it says exporting, and it will continue exporting that music onto that USB stick. As soon as it's done, that line will go away and you're up and running, ready to plug that USB stick into your decks and get going. Alternatively, rather than using the sync manager, we can use the device panel. So down at the bottom here, there's a little icon for device panel. And when we click it, we can see our devices. So we've got this USB stick plugged in called Jamie H. We can click down on here and see the music that's already on there. If you've got no music, nothing will show, of course. But we can see the collection that Jamie has on his USB stick already. To add our music onto there, it's as simple as dragging and dropping. So I've got this tech playlist here that I want to come onto this USB stick. So it's really as simple as grabbing the tracks and then drop it on there. And in the bottom right hand corner, you can see we've got this progress bar, and that will move the playlist from within the Engine Prime software across to the USB stick. Personally, I prefer using the sync manager, but both options are there for you to get your music onto the USB stick and then over and get them playing on the decks. And there we have it. That's how to get your music from your computer or from a different piece of DJ software into Engine Prime, how to analyze it, set your hotkeys, set your loops, and then export it onto a USB stick or an SD card ready for playback on these decks. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Remember, we actually have a full online DJ course all around the Prime series of decks. So if you are new to DJing or just wanting to learn how to DJ better with these decks, please go ahead, click the link in the top right corner or check the comments below for that link to our online courses. I will leave a card at the end of this video for a free lesson for all of you guys out there, and remember to download that free music pack as well. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content like this, and we'll catch you in another video sometime soon. Thank you ever so much.